Get ready to succeed using our cutting-edge high-trust strategies and achieve the success you've always dreamed of both on and off the job. Welcome to Todd Duncan TV. Are you ready?
Hey, it's Todd Duncan. Welcome back, and I'm excited about the lesson that I want to share with you during this episode of Todd Duncan TV. You know, I have found myself over the years blessed by, and you're going to think this sounds weird, my own teachings. Now, before I go any deeper on this, I want you to know that I say that from a position of complete authenticity and transparency. It's not often that as an author, you get the chance to be impacted by your own writing. One would think that if you write a book on success, or you write a book on selling, or you write a book on productivity, that you would be impacted by your own writing. And to a certain extent, that is true. I feel that I know how to sell and create persuasion and influence. I feel that I'm pretty good at productivity and the management of my own performance. But every once in a while, life kind of comes along and it throws a situation at me that I have to drink my own medicine. I have to take my own advice, and I have to really ask if I am asking people that follow me to do this, I need to deploy to my own life as well. So I wanted to show you this. This is my Pilot Handbook. And yes, I am very close to being a private pilot, but that's not the important part of the story. What the important part of the story is that as you dig into the flight log, you'll notice after a certain number of hours, I think it was right around 8 hours, I started practicing my landings. Prior to this video, I went through my logbook and I have 48 practiced landings. Now I'm going to tell you this story because it applies to everything that you do, just as it applies to everything that I do. 48 landings, and I have to tell you that the ones that were pretty, and I don't mean pretty close, I mean pretty, like a great landing. Like if I were a commercial pilot and I had made that landing, I would get a standing ovation from the back of the plane, so to speak. But in the private plane world, nobody's going to give you the applause. It's just that satisfaction that you know you have done something right. Have you ever felt that way? Have you felt a sales call go extremely well? Have you felt some that have been difficult? Have you felt that a day well designed has gone off the skids? And have you felt one that has been organized and has made it to the end pretty clear? See, these are the realities of being in business. These are the realities of being in life, that you have these moments where things go right, and you have these moments where it is less than what you had actually hoped for. I can tell you that the early days of landing were very ugly. In fact, I'm really surprised that I and the plane survived. Thank goodness for my CFI next to me to help me wrangle through some of the tough emotions that came from those first days. But I had to keep my own perspective healthy, just as you do, right? One of my favorite lessons in high trust selling is the lesson that's entitled The Law of the Dress Rehearsal. And what that lesson says is that practicing your lines elevates the level of your performance. So for you and me, anything that we do in life requires us to have this attitude of practice, right? And I know that's not a new idea, but I have to tell you that in my own life, here's how it impacted me. I thought about the thousands and thousands of people that I've had a chance to teach and impact over the years. I thought about everything that I'm asking them to do that if they did it and did it well, would allow them to achieve great levels of success. And I thought about their frustration often in trying to get something right. And I applied it to my own life, and in this case, the life of becoming a private pilot. And I thought, what would I be teaching my students right now? And I came home and I talked to my wife, Deb, and she said, how'd it go? And I said, it was ugly. And she said, whoa, you need to rethink that. You need to reframe that. It wasn't ugly. You're still standing. You're still alive. And I'm sure you probably figured out a few things next time that you want to do differently. And therein, my friends, lies the secret juice to success. And that juice is you are never, ever, ever going to be perfect at what you do. You are always going to be getting better at what you do. And even to experienced pilots that I have conversations with today, my CFI, who has over 1,000 hours, says that some of my landings are not pretty. It's like that great golf shot, right? When you're on the green and you're 15 feet away from the cup and you putt it and it goes in and the gallery roars, right? Or in our case, our mind says, great shot. It immediately discounts the 1 or 2 or 3 maybe bad approach shots that we took to get to that green. And that's how business and life is. One of my favorite quotes growing up in selling was by Henry David Thoreau, and he said, if man advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and he endeavors to live the life that he has imagined, he will meet with success unexpected in common hours. I feel that way about landing right now. I feel that I'm advancing confidently. The direction of my dream is to land the plane beautifully, right? And every time I'm in it, I'm going to endeavor to do that. And over time, I will meet with success that is radically different than the success I had, or maybe in this context, did not have in the early days of learning how to land an airplane. So what is it in the selling business that you need to have that same attitude about? What is it in the growth business, in the approaching or the prospecting or the objection management business? Where is it that you're stumbling? Where is it that you feel that right now maybe it's not as pretty as you would like it to be? And to reframe that in the successful context of knowing I'm not going to do that next time. And all success is over time, is throughout time, figuring out the combination of things not to do and then be reminded of the things to do. So if it is a telephone script approaching a prospective prospect for the first time, what is not working, what is working, and how do you over time perfect that? If it is maybe dealing with some pricing objections or dealing with some options or multiple choice opportunities that a buyer potentially may have, other people like you, other companies like your company, how is it that you deal with that? And how is it that you approach that? And what are the answers that give you certainty on how to do it better, and also reminders of what not to do? And I think that the power of this lesson is whatever you're not good at, by practicing with the right attitude, you will become great at as a natural byproduct of that choice. And so for me, every time that I have a little sketchy landing, it's okay. What is the one thing or the 2 things that next time I just need to be mindful of? And if I practice that in routine, in flying they call it practicing the pattern, right? And the pattern is going around the airport, going around the airport, going around the airport. So about every 4 or 5 minutes, you have a takeoff and a landing. And you do that somewhere between 7 and 10 times in that maybe 1 hour of practice, right? And so the routine, and if I get good at it and I understand it, and then I practiced it over and over and over in a given period of time, that is beautiful. That is the best way to get great. I remember early on talking to the control tower, talking to the controllers that every day show up and they speak at the speed of light. It's like, bup, 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 right? And it's like overwhelming. And I remember how uncomfortable I felt early on just having conversation with the people in the tower, because I'm trying to figure out what they're saying. And my instructor said, focus on the discussion, not the words. Focus on, the high level stuff, not the low level stuff. And over time and over time and over time, I went from being horrified of having a conversation with the controller in the tower to feeling now that it's just an extension of my pilot conversation. So I use this analogy, and I use my Pilot Handbook to tell you that in life and business, you and I have the same decisions to make. It is, if we have to be great at something, then let's get great. But in order to get great, we have to have the right attitude and the right perspective that every time we don't do it according to what our definition of great is either a wind to lift us up, or it is a weight to push us down. And you, my friend, have to make the decision on how you interpret life's outcomes. In selling, in life, every setback, I believe, every breakdown, I believe, is a formula, or there, at least in there lies the formula for a breakthrough. So don't get set back, don't get stumbled, don't woe is me, don't think, just think, okay, this is a successful way not to do this. This is something that works in doing it, let me focus on what works, let me remove what doesn't work, and pretty soon, whatever it is that I try to do, I will do it with excellence, okay? The law of the dress rehearsal, super, super important. Practice your lines, practice everything. It elevates your performance.